Hi YouTubers. Hey, it's kind of a cold, blustery day here in northern Missouri today. It looks like it's trying to snow and it's kind of nasty out. So I'm getting about ready to start some supper. So I'm going to make something that'll stick to the ribs since it's so nasty outside. We're going to have homemade biscuits and chicken and with homemade country gravy all over it. Don't that sound good? Amen. So stick with me here. We're going to get started in just a minute, and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, I've already turned the oven on to preheat at 400 degrees. Now the next thing I'm going to do is butter up some kind of a pan. We're going to make this simple. It's not going to be complicated. You can do this anywhere. I like butter on mine. You can use lard or shortening or oil, spray oil, whatever you want. Or you can probably just put some partial, what do they call it, parchment paper in there. We got to have something just to keep the biscuits from sticking. We're going to do the biscuits first, then we'll go to the gravy. Now for the chicken part of it, I'm going to wimp out on that because I just don't want to take that much time and effort. So I got these cheapy pre-made chicken breast fillets. We're going to just throw them in the fryer after a while. But the rest of this is going to be so good you ain't even going to miss home fried chicken right now. So we got that all buttered up there. Let's set that aside. Now I'm going to set that back aside. We're going to get a bowl out here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dump in 2 cups of flour. It don't have to be bread flour, just wheat flour. Unbleached is better for you. We're going to dump that in there. And then we got 3 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda, baking powder. We'll dump that in there with it. Okay, now I'm going to take a spoon and what I like to do, I like to use the handle end of a wooden spoon because it don't stick on it as bad. It don't get all clumped up on there. I'm just going to mix that all in together. In fact, at this point, it works real good to use a whisk, but we're going here. We're doing fine. Now, we're almost done with this batter. The last thing we're going to do, I got 2/3 of a cup of milk out here, just plain old whole milk, skim milk, whatever you want to use, half and half, I don't care. You can even use, I suppose you could use canned milk, you can use reconstituted powdered milk, whatever. This is going to be just something simple. So we got 2/3 of a cup of that, which is, I believe, 12 ounces if I remember right. And we're going to take oil. I'm using olive oil. And we're going to put 1/3 of a cup of olive oil in there with that. So it brings the whole thing up to 1 cup of liquid. Well, I should have put my glasses on before I started this. Just a dribble more. There we go. Okay, we got a cup of liquid here, 2/3 cup of milk, and 1/3 cup of oil. And we're just going to put that in there with the flour. There we go. And mix it up. These are the easiest biscuits I ever seen to make. I mean, this is almost as easy as taking the ones out of the tube, which you get at the Hy-Vee store, you know. But and they're really good, man. I love these. They're nice and flaky and come out really nice. Now you could, instead of oil, I expect you could use some warmed butter on that too. Ooh, that'd be good. Okay, we're just going to get these all incorporated here and mixed together. I want to get in there with my hands because that's what biscuits like. Now if it gets a little too sticky, just add a little flour. If it gets a little too thin, add a little more milk or some water. That's pretty good right there. So I'm going to spread a little bit of flour around out here. Got some over here. That's more than I intended. This ain't rocket surgery. We're just mixing some stuff up here, and we're gonna call it good in a minute. I'm gonna knead this just a few times. It's not like kneading bread where you have to get the elasticity up in it and everything like that. In fact, if you work it too much, it'll get kind of tough and nasty. We just want to make sure everything's together Kind of like that. Set that bowl back out of the way. Now, oops, that wants to be pushed together a little more. Trying to make a little ball here. Okay, there we go, that's looking good. Now I got my handy dandy rolling pin. I have to keep this hidden there, the wife likes to use it on me. But anyway, I know where it's kept, so we're gonna roll that out. So it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. If you like them thicker, you can make them thicker. If you like them thinner, you can do that too. There we go, that'll be pretty good. My wife says it's an antique. A biscuit cutter here. I know it's been around a long time. We're gonna just go down and cut those rascals out. There we go. Oh yeah, those are gonna puff up and they'll be nice big tall biscuits when we get done. The easiest way to remember this recipe is it's like we went through it. Like I said, you got 1 cup of liquid. That's oil and milk both. 1 cup of liquid, 2 cups of flour, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. That's all there is in it. Okay, we'll do this again. Roll that baby out there. I'm gonna make a nicer ball than that. It's coming apart on me. There we go. All right, that looks good, don't it? Here we go. Got a little bit left. I'm not sure what to do with it. But there ain't room in the pan, so I guess I'll just toss it off to the side. Okay, those are ready to go in the oven. So I'm going to pop them in, and I'll come back when we get ready to do the gravy. We're going to make just some white country gravy. Simplest thing in the world. This stuff, some folks call it cream gravy, some folks call it white gravy. It's a basis for all kinds of country cooking. If you wanted to make sausage gravy, you'd cook some sausage up in here first and crumble it up, and then just do this right on top of it. You can throw in some pre-cooked chicken after you get the gravy going, and make cream of chicken with it. Mom used to even make cream tuna in it. We'd put that over toast, and it wasn't too bad. Once in a while, even if we didn't have any meat, or if you're having fish or something don't make gravy, we had to have gravy every meal. If we had to have fish or something, why, you can't make gravy out of that, or at least I don't see how. But anyway, she'd make this stuff and just put it over boiled potatoes, and that'd be part of the dinner. She called it cream potatoes. So I'm going to show you the basic thing, and you can just go from there and knock yourself out with your creativity. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter. The general rule of thumb on this is, of course, a lot of people don't understand this part. Flour won't cook without oil, and so you got to have oil to cook the flour. Otherwise, it's just going to float around in there, and it's just going to be floury milk and not gravy. So anyhow, we got to have a stove lit first. We're going to go medium-low on that, kind of like that. Get that butter melted. A good place to start, a good rule of thumb, is just to go with equal parts of flour and butter, at least to start with. Now, when I do country gravy, I like a little more butter flavor in it, so I'll probably put a little more in it later on. But got 2 tablespoons of flour. This is actually a teaspoon, so I'm going to go a little more here. Now, I shouldn't have put that in actually until after the butter melted, but I'm camera shy. I didn't got out of control here. Okay, gonna melt the butter, and as soon as the butter melts, we're gonna just stir that up together and keep working it. As the flour cooks, then we're gonna dump in some milk. Now you wouldn't have to use butter. You could use olive oil or margarine or whatever, but traditionally they use butter or lard, and I just like the taste of butter, so that's what we're using. Get that all mixed up together there. As I said, you kind of got me all flummoxed there being around. Usually you ought to let your butter melt good and actually get a little bit brown, kind of just a little tan to it before you put the flour in. But we'll make it work out here. Now, if you wanted to do something where you wanted a little more chicken flavor in this, you could, before you put the milk in, you could actually use a little bit of chicken broth or some chicken bouillon in some water. Not a lot, just a couple tablespoons or something to give it a little flavor. But I'm gonna put a little more butter in there because I always end up liking more butter anyway. And it's looking a little dry. Heat up just a little bit more. There we go. Oh yeah, it's starting to come to its milk there. Here we go. Yeah, this is where you get rid of all the lumps. If you got lumpy gravy, it's because you didn't do your homework right here. Get that all nice and smooth. Just let her simmer for a minute or two. We'll bring it up to a nice caramel color, almost caramel. Almost caramel. Now you could use, I'm just using whole milk today. You can use some half and half. You can use some real cream in there. A lot of people say it ain't country gravy unless you use evaporated milk, but to me, evaporated milk, something that comes in a can, ain't really what I call country gravy. So anyhow, we're going to use whole milk. Milk gives the finished gravy a little bit of a different flavor than what cream or something does. I like half and half for the richness of it, but I do like that milk flavor. Okay, we got a little color there. We're gonna start with our milk here. And I don't measure this stuff. You just gotta practice at it. Give it a shot. See how it comes out. If you get it too thin, you can always go back and, in a separate container, mix up a little bit of milk and a little bit of flour, just a roux, and come back in and add that a little at a time until you get thicker. Got to cook it down good. Got my biscuits in the oven cooking. They're starting to smell good. Now, a lot of people get lazy right here and they quit cooking before it's gravy. It's still just grease and flour and water or milk. Usually with a lot of dishes, the difference between really good cooking and just average cooking is that the average ones just quit too soon. Okay, we're going to let that work, and we're just going to keep stirring it. Meantime, I'm going to plug in the fryer so get it ready for my chicken. Okay, now we're going to need some salt. And I can't tell you how much salt. You just got to kind of go by taste. Whatever seems good to you. Put in a little and try it. And put in a little more. And I like black pepper in it. Most folks do. Don't want to go crazy on it, but I like it. And I like a little cayenne pepper in my gravy. A little bit of bite to it. And I don't know if my wife really likes this stuff or not. I think she just is so happy I'm doing it that she don't want to cook, so she just pretends like she likes it. But anyhow, it works out. I get to cook stuff I like, and she don't have to. A little more milk there. We're a little thick. There again, some people like their gravy, especially white gravy. Some folks like white gravy really thick. And some don't. I don't want to chew my gravy, but I don't want it running off my taters either. We're getting pretty close there. A little bit thin. It'll thicken up here yet. Oop, that says check the bread. Check them biscuits. Oop, not quite ready. You could keep cooking this stuff all night and it'd keep getting thicker, keep thinning it down and cooking it more, but after a while you kind of get to the place where you're just going in circles and defeating your purpose. So get it down, get to the consistency you want, let that cool off a bit, and give it a taste. You're going to taste it anyway, see if you got enough salt and pepper in it, but if it tastes anything, if it tastes like there's flour in it still, then you're going to need to cook it down some more. Salt's about right, but it's still a little bit floury. So we'll keep going here. Wash my spoon off. Now, as it cooks, it's getting thicker again, so I'm going to put a little more milk in there. Like I said, you throw a little sausage in there and put that over biscuits in the morning, ooh, you got a breakfast that'll stay with you all day long. Okay, let's see what she looks like again. Yeah, it's pretty close on the thickness. Let that cool and we'll see if we're done yet. So really the only way to tell whether it's done or not is by tasting it, because it can look like it's perfect, but it can still have raw flour floating around in it. You got to get that flour all cooked up. That's good. We're there. We'll turn that off. Give it one more stir. And check my biscuits again. So, they're not quite ready yet. Okay, there's the gravy. The biscuits are in the oven. I'll bring you back when they're out. And I'll get that chicken on frying. See you later. Okay, I got the biscuits out. Well, those are some pretty biscuits. They are a bit hot yet. Careful, don't burn yourself. Ouch. Like I just did. We're going to put some butter on them. Yeah, let that melt a little bit. nice even coat. Not too close to the pan there. Okay. And we're going to put a fresh hot chicken patty on each one of them. Like that. And then we're gonna go for some gravy. Put that over the whole thing. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be good. See how it thickens up a little after you turn it off and let it stand? That flour's still cooking. Yeah. There's something that'll keep you warm on a cold winter day. So, real simple recipes. Just homemade biscuits, homemade gravy, and in this case some store-bought chicken. But appreciate you coming along and watching with me. I wish you could taste this because it's going to be really good. I'm going to enjoy it. In the meantime, hey, we'll see you next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.